What is up, you guys, and welcome back to my channel. For those who are new here, my name is Nicole and welcome to the little family. So this month has been absolutely crazy. I finished up my very first year with, being a paraprofessional in an inclusion classroom. Sorry, Sammy's creeping on people. And then something else happened. Can y'all see that sucker? Is it gonna focus on my ring? Look at that beauty. Corey finally popped the question. And it was so funny. So we got out on the 28th of May and I got my test results back from, if you y'all remember from the last video, I was studying for a test. Passed that sucker, which very close call. I just didn't pass it, but it's okay. I passed it. That's all that matters. And then literally the next day, we're supposed to go meet his quote unquote friends, and he popped the question. And I feel horrible because I feel like my reaction really wasn't that good. But once when I saw my parents there, my reaction was phenomenal to them. But yeah. And then I, of course, got my first teaching job. I'll be teaching 3rd grade math, and I'm trying to prepare for that for this summer, but I don't know. I have so much things to get done, and we're gonna get these suckers done. But this video is all gonna be about the interview process, what you need to prepare for, how I prepared for it. So if that is something you are totally interested in, go grab yourself a little coffee or a tea or a beverage choice of whatever you like, and stay tuned because we're gonna get down to the nitty-gritty. So just a little background about me. So I went to Charleston State University to get my degree in education. That didn't really work out the way that I wanted to. No biggie. I started Texas Teachers of America, which is an alternate certification program, and I got hired on as a paraprofessional for a DLC classroom. It's when you have all special education students all in one room, and they don't leave the room unless it's for electives. I'm totally blanking what that is called, so sorry. But I did that for the past year, and that was honestly one of the best experiences ever. I knew going in that it was gonna make me become a better teacher, and I wholeheartedly believe that. It helped with my communication skills, helped with my organization skills, definitely have worked on my patience, because Lord knows I didn't have any before, but that happened. And I am so close to getting my alternate certification. I finished up all of my tests that were required for it. So teaching has definitely been my priority this past year. And then I started applying for full-time teacher jobs. I knew I wanted to do elementary. And then, so I'm trying to look at my notes, and then Sammy's sniffing up a storm in here, and I don't know why, but it's been an amazing experience. I have always known since I was a little girl that I wanted to be a teacher, and everything that happened with Tarleton, it kind of did dampen my mood just a little bit, but it took one job for me to get my act together and be like, I need to be a teacher. I'm meant to be a teacher. So I'm going to provide y'all with just interview questions that was in my interview and how I approached my interview. So, number 1, make sure you do your research about the campus. The school district that I applied for and interviewed for, it was challenging. It was so challenging. They didn't really have that much information on their websites. The only thing that really stuck out to me was growth. They just literally, that one word stuck out to me. And it was because, they're growing as a campus, but I also related back to the growth of the students. We're, as educators, we want to make sure that our students are growing continuously. So That's one thing they're for sure gonna ask you for. If you're in the state of Texas, we have TEA score reports where, you know, they score that specific campus. And I looked at that and I said, well, okay, it's not high, but how can I help them with this? What can I do to benefit them? And so I went in there, prepared myself, make sure I knew the campus wholeheartedly, knew the programs that they offer, just everything, anything. And then I saw someone on TikTok do this, and I thought it was an excellent idea. It was a teacher portfolio. And I'm trying to pull it up right now, but I cannot find it. There it is. So it is a teacher portfolio, okay? You can design it yourself. I did it myself because all of the ones I saw were just astronomical. All of them were astronomical prices. I'm broke. I don't have that kind of money. So I created my own. So this is what the cover would look like. This is what they would first see if it will. There we go. So my teacher portfolio, it has my name, what I want. It is an elementary education teacher, and then a picture of me because hi, hello. I want to make sure that they remember Nicole Quinn with this face. That was my first thing. Okay, let's go back. How do I swipe this? Oh wait. Whoop. Okay, me being the organization person that I am, I wanted a table of contents, so it has everything that they could possibly talk about, okay? This is just a slide. About me page. Cute. This is what they want to see. Resumes, cover letters, and transcripts. I don't have it provided because that was all in a different thing. Letters of recommendation. Guys, if you are a student teacher, get your placement teacher to write you a letter of recommendation. And make sure like you schedule appointments with your you know, assistant principals or your principals if they have time. I know with STAR and COVID going on, it was really crazy to do it. But build that relationship with them. Learn advice from them because they were in our positions. They were teachers before they were administrators. So build those relationships with them and they can open up so many doors. My assistant principal at the school district I worked for before, she was like, oh, I know the principal at so-and-so school, so-and-so school, so-and-so school. Where are you applying? I can help you out. I can put in a good word for you. Yes, ma'am. Thank you. So build those relationships with them because that's what, you know, your future employer wants to see. Okay. Next up, lesson plans and student work. Guys, it is a requirement. I don't know if you know this or not, but it is a requirement for us to do lesson plans. I provided literally five different lesson plans, and I've only taught science and math, but this is where the kicker comes in. So I provided 5 different formats for lesson plans, and that's because I wanted to show them that I was very flexible with doing all these different lesson plans. And I wanted to include my student work because I wanted them to see how well my students retain the information and how well they were able to create different assignments, projects, whatever it was. I wanted to show them that like I did teach this, it was effective or it was not effective, but here's what was not effective and how I can grow from it. This really stood out because that was the one thing they asked me about. They were like, I was applying for math positions and all I had were science lesson plans. Not a good thing, Nicole. Not a good thing, but learn from my mistake, guys. So I'm in the interview and, you know, they're asking me, so what would a typical day in your classroom look like? Well, let me flip to the page where it actually has that and I can tell you. So even though it was science, I was able to use the information in front of me because of my teacher portfolio and relate it back to math. I had classroom management on there. I love Champs. I learned about it at Tarleton. Never seen it applied until I got to my last school district. Loved it, hands down. It is a little tedious, but I like it. I feel like it really works because not only does the teacher know what's going on, the students know what's expected of them, and if somebody else walks in, they're like, oh, okay, this is what y'all are doing. Okay, cool. So we're all on the same page. We're all on the same playing field. So having those lesson plans in front of me really helped out while trying to answer their questions. And a lot of the time, this is where I like got really uncomfortable. It was 3 of them. It was 2 different principals from 2 different campuses and the assistant superintendent of the school district. Needless to say, my heart was just pattering. I could not stop. I just word spat. I word vomit. Needless to say, I did, oh, well, I'm Nicole. I graduated from Tarleton State University with my bachelor's of science with a double minor in mathematics and biology. Did that whole intro. And when I did that intro, I had over 30 hours worth of student / observation hours. I worked as a paraprofessional in a self-contained classroom. That's what it's called, self-contained classroom for special education. I didn't like give the general overview of like, oh yeah, I was a part of this organization, I was a part of this organization. They don't care. They don't care. They want to see what you have done in the education field. I mean, cool. That's so cool that you were the vice president of academic affairs. But like, how has this helped you with your, you know, being an educator? How has that helped you? I mean, communication skills. Why not? But they didn't like it. So, anyways, classroom management. Here's the next thing. They will, without a doubt, ask you about classroom management. So look up different things. A lot of people are using desk pads. A lot of people are using little cards where the teacher punches it. Classroom store. I use Champs. Make sure you have different things available for you for classroom management. What else? Oh, I have my classroom management sheet with classroom procedures and routines. If it will. There we go. It's all pretty. I like a rainbow color. Okay, so that was the last one. So that was my teacher portfolio. They loved it. The only thing I would say is make sure you provide extra. I only had 1 because I didn't know how many people were going to be in there. I would say to have 3 to 4. 3 to 4. And I put them in a binder. I had sheet protectors. That was a hard word. And I just shoved the, each individual page into a sheet protector. And that really, I believe that really stood out to them. They saw that I was very organized. I was very prepared. I had, you know, talking points because of my lesson plans and my classroom management, everything provided. I do really believe that it helped save my butt numerous times in it. So they're going to obviously ask you about classroom management. Again, think of different classroom management things you want in your classroom. Think of your procedures, your routines that you're going to have in your classroom. They really want to see how effective you will be in your classroom. What else was there? They really wanted me to like go in depth on what I would be teaching and how I'd be teaching it. I already had a example for a science lesson in my lesson plan, but they really wanted to know more. They asked me so many more extension questions, like, well, what if a student doesn't get it? What are you going to do then? Well, I'm going to do individual assessment to see what exactly they're missing. Well, what if they don't get it after the individual assessment? How can you change up your teaching to help the student? Like, they will go in depth on your answers, and they will go more in depth into your answers. So you just have to be quick as a hiccup and literally think of something, because like, you're going to be expected to know how to do an IEP for some of your students, how to do differentiation. That's a big word. I said it and I don't know, it was like something. No, I didn't say differentiation. That's something you want to differentiate your lessons, accommodations, all that kind of stuff. I talked about Kagan's multiple intelligences, and the assistant superintendent kind of just like chuckled at me. I'm sorry. It was very intimidating when she chuckled at me. But I looked towards like one of the principals, who is now my principal, and I just kind of like smiled at her, and she just gave me that reassuring smile, and I felt calm. I felt okay. But yeah, there's some things that they're just gonna laugh about. You just have to put on a brave face, just roll with it, do the best that you can. They talked about, you know, what if I had an angry parent call me? How would I handle it? Well, I want to make sure that my parent is being heard. I want them to know that I am understanding what they are saying. And if it's something that we can compromise on, I would be more gladly to do that. You know, I want my parents and I want my students to be happy, but I'm not going to diminish my integrity at the same time. So, hold on, let me get a drink because I am thirsty. Oh my gosh. I talk too much. I'm funny sometimes. But that was one question they asked. Another question they asked was, what would happen if you had a very, very angry student and he's just throwing stuff around, being disruptive to your class? How would you handle this? And luckily for me, my teacher that I was placed with for as a paraprofessional had a student like this. So I, you know, used a lot of what she said she did. You know, I took the rest of the kids out of the classroom. I would try to calm the student down. I would try to eliminate any threads. If there was like a pencil, anything sharp, I would get those away from him. I would take off my lanyard because it potentially, you know, hurt me. It could potentially hurt the student. And if the last resort, they don't like your answer, be like, I would grab my teaching partner and I would ask for help. I would ask, how can I approach this in a different way? And what is, you know, something I can do to prevent this? But if you have good classroom management skills, you are less likely, I'm not saying it's not going to happen, you are less likely to have problems because your students know what's expected of them. But if this does happen, like, I wouldn't really know I would know how to handle it, but at the same time, I would always want to ask, how can I improve from this? And that was just another thing that related back to a previous question, because they asked, well, why do you want to work at this campus? Well, because your research came in and I said growth. I was like, I see the campus is growing and I really believe the students will grow as well, and I think I could be an asset to this growth. I always achieving to be growing. And here's where like the fun part came in. So after everything, they're literally checking off stuff off the list, and then it's so intimidating because I kid you not, it was like a 10-page freaking list. 10-page list. And I'm just talking, I'm so hard trying not to like get distracted by them. That didn't happen. I was just like, what's on the pages? What are they checking off? But just know that, you know, your principals or the assistant superintendent were in your position at one time. They were applying for their very first job and they were nervous just like you. And this was my very first interview for my very first official teacher job, and it was very nerve-wracking. But I just looked at, you know, the principals and the superintendent like they were my coworkers. I really did. I imagined my coworkers in the classroom or in the interview with me, because I can talk to my coworkers about this kind of stuff easily. And I know no matter what, my coworkers will always have my back. I know that for a fact. So it was just very comforting to know that, like, I imagined them in the interview with me, because it was just like, oh, I'm just talking to my coworker. I'm not talking to a principal or the assistant superintendent. Yeah, so I'm still not over that. But that happened. And then the fun question. This was a fun question that I absolutely loved. After everything was done, my principal now asked me, she was like, if you were a kitchen appliance, what would you be? This is like asking, what if you were a cupcake, what would you be? What? So me thinking, I'm actually pretty proud of myself. I thought of this on the freaking spot because a blender, like, I don't know, what kitchen appliance would you be? No, I went with my favorite kitchen appliance, a Crockpot. Love me my Crockpots. Oh my god. So then I proceeded to say Crockpot, and she's kind of like, everybody just kind of looked at me. And I'm like, you know, because you put like all of the food in, you get to like leave it alone, check on it here and there, and just like let it simmer. And then at the very end, you get a final product of deliciousness, right? And they just kind of start laughing at me. And it wasn't like they're laughing at me because they were trying to be mean. I think it was just like a funny thing that I said or how I said it. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold on, let me relate this back to education. And I'm like, we give our students our notes. We give our students so much time. We give our students manipulatives. We give every single chance we can give our students. And those are our ingredients that we're putting in. Our student is a Crockpot. We give our students all of this information. We guide them through it, check on them here and there to see if we need to add any more ingredients to it. And at the very end, that's when they have that light bulb moment and it clicks for them. It works, they understand it. So after all of this long process, we have our final product, and it was that light bulb going off for our students. Yeah. Proud of myself for that one. So if they ask you, what kind of kitchen appliance would you be? I'll be a Crockpot. I don't know how I thought of that on this part, but I'm so proud of myself. I did. That was like the first thing I told my mom and Corey. I was like, they asked me what I was gonna be if I was a kitchen appliance, and they just went dead silent on the phone. But yeah, and then follow up. Follow up is like the most important thing. My interview happened on a Monday, and by Friday I got the call saying that they were going to hire me on at my school district. I was so happy. So I interviewed on Monday. Wednesday, because I didn't want to like do it immediately, but I didn't want to postpone it too late. Wednesday, I sent up a follow-up email with the assistant superintendent and both principals. I emailed them individually, and I just said, thank you so much for taking, you know, your time out of your busy schedule to conduct this interview with me. It has been very insightful, an honor, blessed to be in this interview with you. If you have any further questions, please reach out to me at blah, 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 blah. I didn't really get a response from them, but it's just to let them know that I was very thankful for the interview. And then Friday rolls around and I get the call and I just start crying because, y'all, I never thought I was going to get to this position, but I'm so happy that we are here. We are rolling, rock and rolling with this. But let me know down in the comments below if you are a new teacher or a future teacher and want more advice for interviews. And if you are a vet teacher, please comment down below some of your some of your tips and tricks on interviews, or just like things that you wish you knew your first year as a teacher, because you know we're all entering this unknown. If masks are still going to be mandated, if you know we're all going to have to get vaccinated, all of this, but on top of the unknown of actually what's really expected of a teacher. We're taught it, but there's some things where there's like fine lines. So let me down below in the comments. Thank you all so much for listening on my TED Talk. It was fun. It was really fun. I'm a talker, obviously. Do you know me? I love talking. Talking's fun. But thank y'all again for watching my video. If y'all haven't already joined the family, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. If you like this video and want to see more, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. My goal is to post every Friday a teacher video, and then every Monday, you know, just like a plain old video. So stay tuned because I have so much in store for y'all this month. But I just want to say thank y'all so much, and I hope y'all have a fantastic day. Bye guys.